The galaxy had grown used to silence from humanity. Years passed without a single human ship entering any major trade route, and most species decided the old stories about them were exaggerated. Some even joked that humanity had finally accepted its proper place in the cosmic order. Commander Rel of the Vexery Empire believed that more than anyone. He stood inside the observation deck of his flagship, watching dozens of Imperial cruisers drift in perfect formation. Their engines glowed a calm blue, reflecting off the dark emptiness beyond. "They fear us," Rel said quietly. "As they should." His second officer, Vara, nodded. "There is no enemy left who can challenge us." Rel almost agreed until the alarm lights blinked once, then twice, then turned a deep warning red. A thin vibration ran through the deck, subtle but unmistakable. Every officer paused. "What was that?" Vara whispered. Rel frowned. "Long-range sensor anomaly." "Show me." A hologram unfolded above them. At first it showed nothing but static. Then, slowly, a shape emerged. Sharp lines, massive hull, strange heat signatures. An outline of a ship unlike anything in their databases. "It can't be real," Vara said. Rel leaned closer. His voice dropped. "No, they were myths." The hologram sharpened. A single warship slid out of a green rift in space, its hull darker than the void itself. Tiny orange lights traced across its armor like molten veins. It moved slowly, almost peacefully, but something about its presence felt wrong. Too quiet, too confident. Vara swallowed. "Identification." Silence stretched. Officers exchanged nervous glances. Finally, the computer responded with a single line. "Origin human." The bridge fell still. Even Rel felt a cold spark crawl up his spine. Humanity hadn't vanished. They had been preparing. The strange human ship did not broadcast anything. No greeting, no threat, no signal of any kind. It simply drifted forward, slow and steady, like something ancient waking from a long sleep. Commander Rel tried to keep his voice strong. "Open a channel. Demand identification." His comms officer tapped several controls. "Sir, it's ignoring us." Rel narrowed his eyes. "Increase power. Force the signal through." Again, nothing. Only the soft hum of Imperial engines answered. For the first time in years, the bridge felt small. Too quiet. Officers adjusted their uniforms, shifted their feet, or avoided eye contact. Small human-like behaviors they usually never showed. Vara kept glancing at the hologram, as if expecting it to vanish. But the ship stayed, and it grew larger. "What is its mass?" Rel asked. The answer came hesitant. "Sir, it outweighs our dreadnought by a factor of 4. Rel froze. That was impossible. No empire had the resources nor the courage to build something that large. Not openly. Not in secret. "Scan for weapons," he ordered. The officer didn't respond immediately. When she finally spoke, her voice was thin. "Sensors can't penetrate its hull. It's empty and full at the same time." Rel didn't understand. Nobody did. Then, for a moment, the human ship flickered on their screens. Like a glitch, a heartbeat, something alive behind metal. Vara whispered, "Is it cloaked?" "No," Rel said, feeling his throat tighten. "It's doing that on purpose. It wants us confused." Outside the window, thousands of Imperial fighters began shifting nervously in their formation. They were prepared for war, but none of them had ever seen a ship that felt like a message. A quiet warning. A reminder. Humanity had returned, not as a rumor, but as a consequence. Every Imperial officer on Rel's bridge felt the moment the human ship changed its posture. It was subtle, barely a shift in its angle, barely a glide of its engines, but something about it felt intentional, like a predator adjusting its stance before the first strike. "Sir, its power output just spiked," the sensor officer said. She didn't try to hide the tremble in her voice. Rel leaned forward. "Weapons?" "No, not weapons. Something else." A pale orange glow ran across the human ship's hull, threading through the armor as if it were alive. The ship looked less like a machine and more like a creature breathing out after centuries in the dark. Vara whispered. Why would they send only one ship? Rel didn't answer. He had a sinking feeling he knew why, but he didn't dare say it aloud. The Imperial formation tightened, fighters adjusting into perfect triangles. Thousands of pilots stared at the massive vessel ahead, waiting for any command, any sign of hostility. And then it happened. A single flash, soft, quiet, almost beautiful. A tiny point of white light formed beneath the human ship's belly, no bigger than a star. It didn't look threatening at all. If anything, it looked delicate, like the spark of a fire too small to notice. But every alarm across the Imperial fleet exploded at once. "It's a spatial breach," shouted the navigation officer. "The ship is bending space around us." Rel felt a cold wave run through him. "Impact range." The officer swallowed. "Sir, it already reached us." Nothing moved. No explosion. No heat. No sound. Just a soft ripple across the void, like a whisper brushing past the ships. The Imperial fleet floated in silence. And then the first cruiser blinked out of existence, quietly, almost politely, leaving behind only empty darkness where metal had been. For a moment, no one understood what they had just seen. 1 second, the Imperial cruiser Vornis was there, solid, armored, proud. The next, it was simply gone. Not destroyed, not burning, just removed, as if the universe had quietly edited it out. "What happened to them?" Vara whispered. No one answered. Every officer stared at the empty space where a warship had been, their minds refusing to accept the silence left behind. Then a second cruiser vanished. This time, someone shouted. Someone else backed away from their station. A few officers grabbed the edges of consoles as if anchoring themselves would help. Rel felt something he hadn't felt in decades. Fear that tasted like metal in his mouth. "Pull the fleet back," he barked. The command was too late. The human ship's small white spark expanded into a slow-moving ripple that passed through space like a calm wave. Wherever it touched Imperial metal, reality folded quietly inward and left nothing behind. Cruiser, gone. Frigate, gone. Fighter wings, hundreds at a time, snuffed out like candle flames in a storm. No debris, no heat, no blast, just silence. "It's not a weapon," the sensor officer whispered. She looked pale, almost sick. "It's a correction." Rel snapped toward her. "A what?" "The ship isn't attacking us. It's choosing what shouldn't exist near it." The idea felt insane, but the evidence was all around them. The human warship drifted forward, slow and steady, not accelerating, not dodging, not firing. It didn't need to. The universe moved for it. "Why would they build something like this?" Vara asked. Rel finally understood. His voice was barely a breath. They didn't build it to fight the galaxy. He stared at the ship, realizing the truth with a cold weight. They built it because something worse existed before. The bridge lights flickered as the wave passed by, leaving half of Rel's fleet erased from existence. Not dead, simply unwritten. Felt wrong even to think it, as if speaking the truth would invite the same fate. "Is it targeting us next?" Vara asked, eyes locked on the human ship. Rel didn't know. No one did. The massive vessel drifted calmly, almost peacefully, as though it didn't even notice the chaos it had caused. Its orange lines pulsed like a heartbeat. Steady, unhurried, ancient. The sensor officer spoke again, her voice shaking. "I found something in the historical archives. Buried files. Old warnings from forgotten wars." "Speak," Rel said. She turned, swallowing hard. "There were rumors, long before our empire existed. They said humanity once fought something that didn't understand space the way we do. Something that lived in the folds of reality. Something that could erase entire civilizations by accident." Rel frowned. "You're suggesting they built this ship to fight that?" "I'm suggesting they survived it," she replied softly, "and learned from it." A chilling silence settled over the bridge. Outside, the human ship slowed, almost stopping. Its engines dimmed. The large vessel rotated slightly, facing away from the remaining Imperial ships. It wasn't preparing an attack. It was giving them a choice. Why aren't they finishing us? Vara whispered. Rel felt the answer slowly forming. Heavy, unwanted, undeniable. Because they're not here to destroy us. They're here to show us what they can do. A quiet message. A boundary. A demonstration of power so absolute that words were unnecessary. One last ripple expanded from the human hull. Unlike the others, this one didn't erase anything. It brushed the Imperial ships like a wind, harmless but impossible to ignore. A warning. Promise. A reminder that humanity had not returned as equals, but as something the galaxy should have feared all along. The human ship held its position, silent as a moon. No more ripples, no more erasures, just stillness, heavy, deliberate, and impossible to ignore. Commander Rel felt the weight of a decision pressing on him. The bridge crew waited, breathing too quietly, as if afraid sound alone could provoke the vessel watching them. Every officer had the same expression. Fear mixed with something even sharper. Respect. Are they contacting us? Vara asked. Rel opened his mouth, but the answer came from the ship itself. A faint hum filled the air, not through speakers, but through the structure of reality. It wasn't a transmission. It wasn't even a voice. It was intention, a feeling placed gently into their minds. Do not follow. Do not interfere. Do not repeat the mistakes of those before you. The message wasn't threatening. Felt tired, weathered, like humanity had carried something far heavier than war. A slow shiver ran through the officers. Rel stepped closer to the viewport, eyes fixed on the dark vessel. They aren't warning us, he murmured. They're asking us to stay away from whatever they're fighting. Vara whispered. You think the danger still exists? Rel nodded. Something forced them to build a ship that can argue with reality. The human warship began to move again, gliding forward with the calm certainty of something ancient. Space bent softly around it. Not violently, not aggressively. Felt almost gentle. As the ship disappeared into a thin crack of green light, the message echoed one last time. Survive. Do not become the next echo in the dark. Then the crack sealed, and the void was quiet again. The Empire's remaining ships floated in stunned silence. Rel exhaled slowly. Mark this day, he said. Humanity did not return as conquerors. He closed his eyes. They returned as guardians of a threat none of us want to meet.